Hi Aquarius, how's everybody doing? Before we get into it, let's set the intention for this to be a space where everyone allows themselves to feel seen and validated, and ultimately for this to be a safe space and a healing space in alignment with everyone's highest good. It looks like there's a bit of maybe a waiting period. Maybe you feel too like the energy is a little bit stuck right now. I'm hearing it may just be the timing. I'm looking at the King of Pentacles and the Moon. For some of you, something's unfolding with your job, but this hasn't happened yet. This can be career related as well. Something's going to be unfolding with your career. This can even be a direction, or you don't know how something is going to take off. Yeah, you could be doing something right now, but you're not meant to know the impact that this is going to have yet at this point in time. It's kind of like a mystery, like what the projection of this is going to be. Like the projection of your future in relation to this. Yeah. That makes so much sense. So this can be even like you felt particularly guided to do something, to take up something, to act in a certain way, to take on a particular role, but you're not meant to know like how this is going to unfold on purpose. You're not meant to know. So this is also about doing something because you feel called to do it, not because of the outcome as well. Okay, so we're getting kind of like philosophical here with this too. This is reminding me of a quote. It's like the work that you do is about the work that you do and not about how it's received. It's not about like what people think of it. It's not about whether people like it, whether people don't like it. If something is important to you, it's about, again, the work that you do and not the recognition that you get for it. Something along those lines. Because when we get too caught up in the result rather than the work that we're doing, it doesn't allow you to become a master of your craft because you're so affected by the validation or lack thereof that you're getting. So it's all about like whether or not you find the work that you're doing to be important. I'm seeing a notion almost like someone decides to go down a path and they're like, I'm not sure whether I'm gonna like this or not, and then you end up finding that like you really adore something. This can be a person too. It's going to be called out, it's going to be named eventually, just not yet. I'm seeing a lot of Pisces energy here. I'm hearing flooding through. So I'm looking at the King of Pentacles, the Moon, the Queen of Cups, the King of Swords, Justice. I'm hearing Aries. It is the Emperor. And also I'm seeing some type of big cycle that's going to be ending with the Ten of Swords here. Yeah, it's weird. Starting off with the moon so early, it looks like you're working with some unknown factors right now, but you're being guided to like feel things out and figure out like when to take action and when to not take action, when you need to sit back and think about something versus like when you need to be more active. I'm curious to know why the Ten of Swords is here though, and what that's connected with. It almost looks like, whether this is an aspect of your being or this is somebody outside of yourself, the King of Pentacles is coming through and he's going to help you with something, but the outcome is unknown. However, I'm seeing that it's going to be successful, but this may be like the way that things take place, you're not aware of them. You're not aware of how this is going to go. There's a sense of like that being deliberate, but at the end of the day, the outcome is going to be successful because of like someone helping another person, someone giving another person assistance. But you could even be like, you could be helping somebody and not knowing whether or not it's going to be effective. Somebody could be helping you and you don't know whether or not it's going to like solve a problem that you're trying to figure out right now, because there are a lot of unknown factors that you're dealing with. But I am seeing that like you're going to come out in a place where, although there have been like steps where you've been like challenged repeatedly, you're going to come out on top at the end of the day. This is what I'm seeing. And I'm seeing like whatever help this is that you're getting, or however it is that you're helping yourself, that's what like really makes the difference here in ways that are even like beyond your like scope of perspective. There's a sense of like wanting to be really intuitive with this process and also take action based off of that when it comes to laying down groundwork. And also like being mindful too of like how you're communicating, what you're communicating, also even what you're thinking about too, the ways that you're problem solving. Because of all the masculine energy that I'm seeing here, I'm getting that like this is a lot about like you taking action, but because of where the feminine energy is placed, it's like making sure that you step back and check in with yourself. It's almost like you take action when you know what steps need to be taken, and when you don't, you need to sit back and reflect and kind of recount what's going on, and then like once you have a plan of what to do, then you continuously move forward. Interesting. So the High Priestess is falling below the Ten of Swords. What I'm getting is that I'm looking at the Four of Wands. I'm also looking at the Justice card and also the Judgment card. It looks like there can be something going on with like a close relationship, or like even a marriage, or like some like legal partnership, which I guess can also be a business partnership too. there's something that's going to need to be called out, like about this connection. I'm seeing this be like related to an interpersonal relationship that you have. What I'm kind of getting to, like with the moon at the beginning, like if this isn't resonating for you right now, you may see that this is going to like resonate over time for you. Because it seems like you're not meant to know exactly what's going on in the beginning of this, but you're eventually like going to understand this and how it resonates for your life, for those of you that this may not be resonating yet at this point in time. So some sort of karmic justice is going to be taking place, or you're going to realize like what the right move is for you to be making, and this is going to stick out very clearly to you, and you're going to have to make a big decision for yourself, one that you're going to have to be calculated with, strategic. And by you being strategic with the move that you're making, it's going to help you understand like each and every move you make going forward. By using that same logic and seeing like how effective it is when you use it to make your decisions, like how well that works for you. I am seeing a big ending that's upcoming, but the High Priestess is the one that knows about this. So this may be something subconscious that you're not yet aware of, or it can be something that only you know about right now, or you know that this thing is coming, or you can feel this thing coming. But it has not happened yet. The High Priestess, being below the Ten of Swords, it is very much like something is going to be taking place, but it has not been talked about yet. It has not been discussed yet, and it may not even concretely be conscious yet. However, there's a sense of like having some type of awareness of this and how that's going to unfold. I'm looking at Pisces, the moon, Aries. I'm hearing Virgo, Pluto, and Libra. It's interesting because I'm seeing it be like either you're planning to end something and you haven't told anyone about this, or someone else is planning to end something and they haven't mentioned this to you, but you know that this is about to happen. You know that this is coming. And an ending can be anything. It's like a boss could be leaving like the job site where you work out and they haven't told you yet, but you kind of feel like that's going to be happening. Or like maybe even you feel like for some of you, like a marriage could be ending, or a relationship could be ending, or like a friendship could be ending, or something big is going to be ending. But yeah, whatever this is, you would have an inkling of this. An inclination that this is going to be happening. But there's a sense of like needing to wait. Like something has not come to fruition yet. As I said before in the beginning, in the pre-shuffle, it looked like there was like some sort of stagnancy, like something had not happened yet, but you may feel like something is going to be happening. Yeah, you are meant to call judgment on a relationship that you have specifically. So this means like taking a very, very deep analytical approach, perspective, look at something. A connection that you have. This is a committed relationship, and you're meant to be like looking at it through the lens of the High Priestess, because that's what's going to give you clarity on a big decision that you need to make in relation to this relationship that you have. It's interesting when I do readings like this, they feel so specific that I always wonder like how many people could actually relate to this, but I guess we're going to see. Now I'm looking at the Three of Cups and the Queen of Wands here. For some of you, you could be reconnecting with, like, friends, or you could be having, like, some type of gathering, or this is going to be happening. I'm also hearing give back with the Six of Pentacles here. For some of you too, you could be going through a shift right now where you feel like you're kind of changing, and so like your friend groups may be like going through some sort of edit right now, because it's like as you change, you may be, different things may be appealing to you, and so like certain people may not be resonating with you as much as like other people, and so you may be like gravitating towards like different things, different people, different events even, or like groups that you want to get involved in. Or like interests that you have. There's a sense of like growing more and more into yourself. But yeah, even like the way that you had socialized in the past may be different than how you're socializing now as well. Like, you may even be a bit more selective. Or, like, for some of you even, like, when you got bored or lonely, you may have hung out with certain people that, like, when you walk away from the situation, you may not, like, energetically feel great, but you could have been doing it and kind of, like, compromising that for the sake of company. This may also be changing, too. You're, like, really thinking about who you're spending your time with, and also, like, what activities you're doing when you hang out with people, too, and, like, how that's impacting you. Because I'm seeing like a more independent and a more confident energy that's developing, but this is definitely like a process that you've been going through. It's like feeling more comfortable in your own skin, feeling like you know yourself better, and like getting to a point where you're working on being more vocal when it comes to like asking for what you want and communicating your needs and things like that. And this could have been something that you really shied away from in the past. For some of you, there's definitely still like this aspect of yourself that you're struggling with. But there's also a sense of like, when you make empowering moves for yourself and you know what you want and you know what you're looking for and you know how you want to be treated, there's a sense of like getting to a place where you're willing to articulate that and communicate that with people and be okay with the way that they respond, because you know what your standards are. And so there comes a time when we have to be like ready to validate ourselves rather than needing the approval of other people. And if somebody can't deliver what you want, or you guys are just like not resonating with one another, instead of judging that and like criticizing yourself or feeling self-conscious about that, there's a sense of just being like, oh, like we're not in alignment with each other, we're not resonating with each other, or like this doesn't work for them or this doesn't work for me, and being okay with that and being able to like continue on your path without feeling like you need to change yourself for somebody else or that other people need to change for you, you know? Always reverse it too. That's very, very important for our like overall perspective of understanding situations. But yeah, you could have felt like for a long time that maybe like you couldn't be yourself because of the way that like other people would receive you, or like maybe experiences that you had in the past when you were authentic, and like how people receive that and like what they said about that. But yeah, this is about recognizing that like no one and nothing externally is holding you back, and if you think that, it's a projection. So if you're stopping yourself from like doing something that you want to do or being something that you want to be, in an energetic sense, if you're stopping yourself from that, it's you that's doing it. The thing is too that sometimes it's hard to acknowledge that, because once you understand that like you're the only one responsible for like being how you want to be and fulfilling your destiny, you also realize that there's like no one else to blame. So it's both empowering because it's your responsibility, and so you recognize that like if you stick with it, you can make anything happen for yourself or like accomplish the things that you want to. However, like the pace and all of like whether or not you achieve something, that also falls back on you too. So there's also no one else to blame if like something doesn't come through, which can be hard for our egos to deal with, because it's easier to be able to like point fingers and be like, because of that situation or that person over there, that's why like I wasn't able to do this, or that wasn't able to come through for me, or like why I can't be myself, you know, within reason. Yeah. The way that the Eight of Swords is sitting below the Queen of Wands, the Eight of Swords, which is like you feel helpless, you feel like you can't move, you feel anxious, like the whole archetype of these things that like keep us in a space where we feel stuck. And I remember this being a theme in the last reading too, and like this is sticking out to me again. When it comes to you and how you want to shine and the things that you want to do and like your authentic energy and you living your life in the way that you want to and you seizing opportunities in the way that you want to and you taking responsibility and becoming accountable and working to become independent, there's a sense of still struggling with this at times, which all of us do. It's natural. Progress is not linear. However, you may find with this below that like when you look deeply into this card and when we analyze it, it's all self-imposed. So it's that like no one else around you is holding you back. Like this person can walk away from this space if they want to. They're the only person keeping themselves there. And I'm seeing this be related to like how we are perceiving self with the Queen of Wands, because the Queen of Wands is very, very aware of themselves. And when they're in a lower vibrational energy, they may be like pointing fingers and blaming other people as to like why they can't be confident and within their own energy, and like may not be managing their emotions well and may feel like helpless and things like that. However, when the Queen of Wands is in a high frequency, it's someone that's independent, somebody that's going to go after the things that they want, somebody knows that knows that they can get things done, that knows that they can be effective, that trusts the power that they manifest with, all of that, and is not like looking to anyone else for validation or blaming anyone else for holding them back. Especially when it comes to what their standards are and how they want to be treated and the stability that they're trying to create for themselves. Because I'm seeing that also be part of the theme here. So it's like, if you don't like the way somebody's treating you, this isn't the time to sit around and be like, I hate the way this person's treating me and not do anything about it. It's about like, what are you going to do then? Are you going to walk away, or are you going to let them keep doing that? Or are you going to like sit there and just keep talking about it and just stay in that spot and keep talking about it over and over again, you know? Just like stretching that energy out and not moving away from it. And this is like the stuck energy that I'm seeing. It's like, that person shouldn't have done that, or like they're the reason why I'm stuck here, you know? And it's like, that may be, however, like what can you do about the situation, because that other thing isn't changing. So where are we now? Because I'm not even seeing it be like, it's not like you want anything crazy. It just looks like normal things that you're trying to create for yourself, but you have to get out of your own way. in these places where you may be holding yourself back or feeling stuck. And this can be too, like, feeling sorry for yourself at times. I think that too, it's like normal to just experience the full color spectrum of all of our emotions and thoughts, but there's also a sense of like needing to moderate and also control like where we're allowing our minds to go and like how we're reacting to things emotionally. Like, are you sitting with it? How are you using that to better yourself? Are you reflecting? Because I'm also seeing a space where it looks like we've been like looking into ourselves more and working on that, and working on like thinking about our goals and the things that we want. And this is something that's happening repeatedly. It's like going out and living your life and then checking back in, and then working on things and then checking back in, and seeing where you're sitting and then checking back in. It's this whole relationship that continues moving between you and yourself, where it's like you in the outside world and then you in your internal world, and reflecting on that and working on reflecting and like getting your bearings and seeing where you are. Because I'm seeing too that like there could even be like certain things that are like reinforcing you to stay in a certain energy, and you're being guided to break out of that if you're feeling stuck in it and you don't want to be in there anymore. Because I'm seeing too, like, for some of you specifically, there could be outer circumstances that you like may be affected by. However, you have the power to move away from these things. And so there's a sense of like you may lose some friends over this, or you may lose some people that you were hanging out with, whatever you want to label this as, or like a place that you would go to, and things like that. But you're being guided to go through a big change right now, and I'm seeing like resistance when it comes to going through that change. So this is a big transformation, and that's uncomfortable, but you're going to find yourself as you go through this. This is about you like stepping into a very empowered energy here. And as soon as you surrender, as soon as you like open your arms and you're like, you know what, I am ready for the changes, and you stop resisting it, you're going to find that on the other side of that is exactly what you've been looking for. This is like things that are ideal for you that come through. There's a sense of stability, safety, security. Something that you're going to continuously need to work on, but something that you're going to finally be able to reach, like, once you allow yourself to transform. And this is something that's not going to go away either, so there's a sense of, like, once you actually allow it to happen, you're kind of, like, breaking through a wall that maybe you felt you couldn't break through before. And once you do, you're finally going to be on the other side and feeling like you're in much better shape than you had been in before. Because I'm seeing like such a strong, like, I don't want to change type of energy, or like the world should be bending or changing, not me. And this is all stuff too that has to do with the ego as well. Not accepting things for what they are. But yeah, I'm seeing this be a very important change that we're moving through. Struggling with, but moving through. As soon as you stop fighting against the flow of the way of things, there's a sense of finally completing a lesson. Like within the surrender, I'm seeing this happen. And I'm seeing you come out of this in like a much more peaceful energy as well. But it's hard to stop fighting, especially when we've learned that like the way we get through life is fighting, you know? fighting ourselves, fighting with other people, like needing to be in like that aggressive fight or flight energy. Especially when it comes to like our self-image too. Because I'm seeing this all be like tied into like self-esteem and like what other people are thinking and how they perceive you, and like all about like other people in relation to us. And this is all about like flipping that around and changing it to like how you perceive yourself, and understanding that this is the most important thing, and this is like the relationship above all that is going to be most important, because your relationship with yourself then affects your relationship with other people, and also like how you perceive those other people and how you perceive them perceiving you, you know? But it all starts with your relationship with yourself. And until we get to a place where we are accepting ourselves and like living authentically and understanding our power and making empowering moves rather than ego moves or fearful moves or shadow moves, we're learning continuously to come back to ourselves and to find what we're looking for. But yeah, it looks like this is all about like self-belief and getting out of a mentality where you feel like a victim or helpless. Which can even happen in the smallest ways too. It's like some people may resonate with this more than other people. It's like maybe in your whole life you feel like everybody's against you, or maybe it's just when you're rushing and you have to get somewhere and the person in front of you is going very slowly and you're like, why did they get out in front of me like on that turn and make me late? You know what I mean? So know that it can show up in small ways too. But it's about checking in with ourselves in that moment and grounding and coming back into reality and like losing the ego in those moments. And like this is the benefit too of consistently reflecting and understanding like how we're perceiving and getting even a better understanding of the lens that we are looking at things through too, until we get to a place where the lens that we look at everything through is love, which is always going to be the highest frequency, the highest vibration. But it's something that takes like a lot of work, a lot of personal work that we have to do to get to that point. And that is like the true ascension that we go through. But yeah, it seems like something big in the heart chakra is being looked at here. And it's something that's, of course, going to then affect your chakras going up too. But until this is cleared out, you can't go up any further. So interesting, we're going into this. If the heart chakra is not cleared, this means that we may misinterpret things that we hear, things that we perceive. It means too that we may not be seeing things clearly when it comes to our intuition. And there's a sense of like misconstruing things in general, especially like in a self-centered type of way, or thinking like everything is kind of like revolving and aimed towards you and taking things very personally. So this is about opening the heart chakra up so we can like clear those other chakras too. I'm looking at Virgo, Scorpio, and Saturn here. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everybody for joining. Thank you for tuning in. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.